Hello, thanks for joining us today and for the past couple of days. Particularly appreciate you joining our session with Dr. Webb as he talks about how he implements or teaches STEM concepts within his ag science classroom. A couple of housekeeping things. When you come into the Zoom room, please make sure to mute your microphone. If you weren't able to ask a question into the CTE Inspired platform, then make sure and ask it here in the chat because we'll monitor those questions as well. And then Morgan here is helping me. Morgan's going to enter the important code that you're going to need at the end of the Q&A so you can get credit for attending the session. So Dr. Webb, we're just going to hop right into the questions, and I'm going to ask them in the order of that they were voted of most important here. And the first question is, do you use the semester-long projects that you do you use those as an SAE opportunity for the students?
Absolutely, yes. Some of the students that we have don't come from an agricultural background, so this gives them an opportunity to have an agricultural experience. Plus, it gives me a good chance to observe and help them with.
Looks like he froze on us. He'll probably pick up in just a second.
So how much of it did you get?
Let's pick up where you talked about an opportunity to observe the students.
Yeah, one of the things, I think what I was trying to say is a lot of the kids today are not coming from an agricultural background. They don't have livestock at home or vegetable production or anything like that. So these semester-long projects give them an opportunity to do their SAEs, and it gives me an opportunity to observe those SAEs in ways that I wouldn't get to if they were doing projects off-site.
Right. And the next question was, do all of your students take the certification exams? And if they don't, then how do you test at the end of the year?
So no, all of them don't. Sometimes you have special population groups within your classes that you. One of the things that I like about ICEV is you can tell the progress that they're having as they reach, each individual module, and it checks them off and they finish those. So you can sort of monitor how the kids are progressing through the semester, and those that have all the stars in their boxes at the end of the semester get to take the exam.
Gotcha. And for those, so basically it's kind of like they earn their opportunity to take the certification exam. Is that kind of because they've made the commitment to go through all the modules and that type of thing?
Absolutely. And so I incorporate each one of those modules into my classes along with my lectures. So each one complements the other, and it gives the students opportunity to work on the lessons outside of class. And back in March, when everything shut down, I completely relied my ICEV modules to help teach the class. So it was pretty good. If we could have figured out a way to offer the industry certifications at the end of the last semester and had been able to monitor the exam, great thing. But I think everything was up in the air at the end of the semester, and we were just thankful at the time that we got through it.
Right. So the students that do earn their certification, do you see do any of those get placements for like internships at your vet clinics in the community or anything like that?
Absolutely. The local veterinarians, and we have 3 veterinary clinics that we're working with, are really impressed with the students that they have coming in for an internship, and they had hired somebody that hadn't been through the program. So there's value in it for the students because it leads to a paid job.
Right. So how many students, like within a year, do you have certified?
Well, I think we won't count last year since it was unusual. Year before last, I think I had 22 that were certified with the veterinary medical application certification.
Okay, wow. Next question was, do you track students' performance that are in your class on how they do in like standardized tests, or do you have any information of how they compare to other students from a science type testing scenario?
Not other than just coffee room chat with the teachers. I get a lot of positive feedback from other teachers in the science department, and that the kids that are coming to class, whether it's my biotech class, vet class, or animal science class, they're coming to them with a lot of background knowledge that most of the students in their classes don't have.
Right. Of all your projects, what seems to be the most popular with your kids, with your students? I think you're going to have to start that one over because we're not hearing you.
Okay. I think the biotechnology projects are the ones that attract most students, and that's where I get the top 10% students enrolling in that class, which is non-traditional for agriculture classes. Now, the most fun is usually my shop classes, my welding classes, where the kids actually get to design and build things like trailers or cattle feeders, and it's their own design. So, I see a lot of value in these projects. Plus, it also teaches the students how to solve problems and not run to me as their teacher for a solution or an answer.
So for those that build the projects, do they enter those in like ag mech shows? Do they enter any of those in competitions, like FFA competitions?
As biotech goes, we have been entering those projects in the FFA Agri-Science Fair. And one of the students last year, her and her teammate, won the state Agri-Science Fair, went on to the Big E up in Massachusetts, and she finished second at it and received a silver rating at the National FFA Agri-Science Fair.
So I don't know, everybody's going to be facing a different environment, right, this fall, whether that's a hybrid or a total or remote, or, I know a lot of uncertainty. What are your plans to kind of continue, I'm not sure what you're facing, but in the event of an online environment, totally online environment, what are your plans to still continue that STEM implementation with your students?
Well, some of the things that we've been doing is that I'm bringing a student in and we're videotaping them doing the lab portion of the biotech, which has really been instrumental. The student I used this past year, her father and mother are teachers at the school, so it was easy to bring her in. We had access. She was great to work with. So moving forward, one of the things that I like that ICEB's done this time is allowing us to drop everything into Google Classroom, because our school system requires that we use Google Classroom. And no idea what we were doing.
I have to unmute myself. So now, of course, we have that new button with that that you can push it to Google Classroom much easier. And so if you weren't able to attend that session yesterday, go watch that session. We're still working out a few kinks, but that integration button is there, so it should be more simple now to do that Google Classroom integration. So I guess one last question. So for for individuals that are wanting to do something similar to you, and maybe they're just starting out and they like, I want to do this, but I'm not exactly sure how to get started, what would be your advice to them?
Well, one of the things is start slow. Don't move into the full program the first time you try it. Start out small. I started out with kids doing a little bit of research on a project and ended up with a poster project at the end of the semester. Then, as I got comfortable with that, we added the next step of them actually doing physical research and and the kids take ownership of their learning. And I think that's one of the best things that, it's fun to see how much growth and potential these kids have. Sometimes I don't think we challenge them enough. And I think it really raises it to another level. Getting a lot of feedback. Getting a lot of kids that are going on to 4-year schools that are leaders in group projects at college. They're becoming representatives for programs at the college. So I like to tell one story about a kid from biotech that went to a non-agricultural school. She was majoring in biotechnology. And at the end of the semester, her freshman, she became the lab assistant for the 101 Introduction to Biology program at that university. And it was all because
I think we cut out again, but I think we did end on a good note with a success story and what these programs can do for your students that you may not realize, right? Where they end up and where it can take them. So appreciate, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it actually gains a lot of respect for agricultural programs within the school.
Right.
Sometimes agricultural programs are not looked at as an academic program. By implementing some of these projects and things, you get the attention of the administrators and other teachers, and it really helps build your program.
Well, thanks, Dr. Webb, and thanks for everybody who attended. We will have his slide presentation available so you guys can download that. And then, of course, he was kind enough to put his information on there as well. So if you have any specific questions for him, then you can reach out to him offline. Morgan has chatted in the this Zoom chat the code that you need, but I will read it out loud. It's AGSTEM 032. So AGSTEM 032. Thanks for joining us and hope you enjoy the rest of our sessions this afternoon. Bye-bye.